Hi all, thank you for joining us today for this third customer talk today with Lexcelera. We have a bit of a background noise. Just before we start this webinar, I would like to make a few points regarding the organization. You are all on mute. All participants are on mute. So if you have any questions, please ask them via the chat panel. There will be a 15 Q&A session at the end of the webinar. So all questions will be taken towards the end. So it's important for you to stay until the end, because that's when it gets to be more interactive. And also to let you know that this webinar is recorded, so you will receive the video in a couple of days. If some people didn't manage to attend, then you will be able to get the replay. So I'm done with a few practical questions. So I'm leaving the floor to Gaëlle and Laurence for hosting subjects this morning.
Thank you, Alice. Thank you so much. So hello everyone. So welcome to this third webinar. So as Alice said, it's a new series we launched this year. We wanted to give the floor to our customers and to our partners to share with you their experience around machine translation. What challenges has machine translation addressed? How was the project built? What challenges has machine translation addressed? And what are the benefits also, of course? And today I am pleased to welcome Laurence Roguet, so Managing Director of Lexcelera. Hello, Laurence, and welcome.
Hello, Gaëlle. Hi, everyone.
Thank you for accepting our invitation and sharing with the participants some of your expertise and experience around machine translation. So, before getting to the heart of the subject, can you introduce Lexcelera and your role in the company?
So, as you said, I'm Laurence. I'm Managing Director for Lexcelera. It means that I'm just making sure that the company is running well. Lexcelera is existing since 1992, and last February, we've joined the T-Works group, which is a German group. And yeah, what else to say? We are in the language industry for many years, with dealing with two very different kind of services. One is more focused on communication, multilingual communication, which is involving lots of creation, content creation and creative content. And the other one is more about technical content. So we are working with big accounts, mostly French ones, but big accounts around the world, more in the mining, resources, energy, civil engineering, construction, and medical devices, verticals.
Okay, great.
So combining technical and communication.
Yeah, absolutely, big challenge.
Yeah.
And as we talk about challenge, what are the current main challenges at Lexcelera?
Really, well, I guess for all, it's the same for all LSP. It's know your customer well, meaning master their terminology. Most of our clients have several métiers and several domain of expertise within their vertical or their activities. So we have to perfectly master each and every domain they are playing in, and knowing, yes, what they need, what they require. That's the challenges for everyone. And now also, well, we are facing a change or several changes in our markets. yeah, clients want things more directly. They want to be more integrated, or they want us to be more integrated in their processes, and that's why machine translation is ramping up very clearly inside clients.
Okay. And do you work for specific industries?
Yes, as I mentioned, yes, we work with mining. Okay, it's mining, energy, civil engineering, and construction, and medical
Yes.
devices. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, just to recap. Okay, perfect. Yeah. And could you tell us since when you're using MT and System solution and for what kind of use cases?
Okay, so we are using machine translation since 2008. Oh, yeah. How does it come? Because of one of our clients was just challenging us to have its online help very quickly and for cheap. Oh, let's say it like that. So that's why we've investigated several machine translation solution, and we came up with after a benchmark of several tools, it appears that System was the best one for the languages we were seeking, which were French, German, Spanish, Italian at that time. And that's how we started with machine translation and System. Really, the important thing that we found is that we were able at that time to train and to improve the output of the machine through our computational linguistic activities.
Okay. And okay, so what is interesting is your big experience in MT and long experience, I would say. So from your experience, could you tell us what are the biggest technological evolution in MT and how did it affect LSP's industry?
Okay, also first question. We started with rule-based engine, with rule-based technology. So it means, okay, having some dictionaries and some rules to generate outputs. We appreciate a lot this technology because we were able to have hands-on and to be able to train our own engines based on clients' terminology, based on some rules defined on style guides, etc. Then there has been, I would say, a technology break with statistical machine translation, which I should admit we haven't adopted within Lexcelera because it was based on probability of translation. And it means a huge data and clean data. It means if you have inconsistent data, at that time you were not able to train an engine, a consistent engine, but only based on probability, saying, okay, this word is probably translated that way or not. So you have a chance to have errors. Whereas when we come to machine translation, we expect the machine not to make errors, or at least to be consistent when it makes an error. It's always the same and not a probability. And then in 2017, we had a very huge technical break with neural machine translation, which is now also called artificial intelligence language programming or language training. Okay, and how this, so we have adopted directly this one because it's so the difference in quality is so high in terms of results. An MT is absolutely perfect. Nonetheless, we should always be careful, and that's what we appreciate. Again, we can train an MT engine. That's something we need because, of course, let's let's take it from start. NMT, it's like teaching a language to a children. So it means that you start with small sentences and then, or even words, only few words, and then simple sentences, and then you complicated the language, and you train and you train, and you're training two models at the same time, French and English, say, or German and Japanese. And then after a certain maturity, mastering the current, the generic language, then the children is going to the university and is discovering a new complete word that is more technical. If it's a legal university, you're entering a completely new language. And that's where Lexcelera is coming. We are going from generic engine, and we are retraining this generic engine, adding some data that are highly technical or highly oriented in terms of domain.
Okay, very clear. Thank you for this example. It was very clear to understand. And so you are really you use MT since a long time, and I assume you did some benchmark, of course, on the market. So how you did that, and did you benchmark other MT solutions, and how you did that, and what was the output?
Okay, we are benchmarking always, sorry to say, even if we are partners. So yes, all time, either because of some language difficulties, say Japanese or maybe Russian. So from time to time, we are looking at what is on the market. So benchmarking, and also benchmarking on how autonomous we can be with the tools. So yes, we are always doing that. The last benchmark we've done, it's last year when we integrated the T-Works group. So T-Works had a tool on his site. Well, it's a German tool. And here at Lexcelera, we were using System. So we've run two pilot projects to compare the output and to compare which was the best to keep within the organization. And so we piloted on German, of course, and French. And System won both time. So that's what the last benchmark we've done. Of course, in 2017, we have benchmarked NMT tools to see which would be the most fitted for all the languages we were dealing with. And again, all those that were letting us a little bit of autonomy to be able to train and on a daily or on an easy way.
Okay. So my next question is, do you self-train NMT models now?
Yes, we do. We do. Thank you, sister. So there is a studio lead. Studio model lead.
Model studio.
Model studio lead. Sorry. And yes, we are training. Where what is very important is you can train now NMT without lots of data. Whereas when we were in the statistical world, you need a really huge bunch of data. But now, yeah, with neural machine translation, you don't need much of data, but good data, again, qualified one. Make sure that either there is no bias, so maybe there could be some bias and you have to eliminate them, or on the opposite, maybe introduce some other bias in the data to make sure that then the result will be good. So this autonomy is very good. Most of the other tools do not allow for that. They allow for adding terminology, to have a layer of terminology on the output of the machine, but I prefer to have a simple way to train. It takes very few hours to train a new model using System Model Studio Lead.
And so I see on the slide that we talk about blue points. So I assume it's really something concrete. So you have really concrete increase of quality, right?
Right, completely. Now, so we have trained several models since we have introduced the tool. And yes, on average, we are gaining 10 to 15 points of quality in terms of blue, which is absolutely good, because when you start with a blue of 50 and you're going up to 65, it's not as if in the past we were starting with a blue score at 20 and then roaring to have something around 40, and now we are starting around 40, 45. And
what is interesting is, yes, it's very interesting what you said, because it means that even if the starting point is really higher than before, we managed to increase again the quality. So it's really something interesting to see.
That is, I would say that is a kind of issue with NMT, because it's producing a so good result. Some of my some of the other LSPs think, okay, it's good enough, and let's play that like that. But you can still improve. It's not. A generic is good, but if you want your human post editors to live well with the machine output, you should also help them, and you should improve the output with the terminology of your client. So yes, even if we have machine translation, human is still there, in fact.
Of course. Of course, and it's my next. Of course, and it's my next question for you. It's what are the main challenges to make MT an ally for human translators? Because of course it's a subject.
Yeah. Okay. So 2 parts. First, I would say the translator work is changing. They are more upfront of the machine translation, so they are the ones that are preparing the terminology, or that are analyzing the data and the corpus, the corpora, to be able to, or to support us in training engines. And then there are also post editing and providing feedbacks on how to have the continuous improvement of the engines. So they are very important, and they are probably now having more added value task for us. And they are confident with the results. They see that they work more on the language than searching for terminology or correcting for grammar and, well, anything that the translator doesn't really like, maybe.
Yes, and I think you explained to me that you did it step by step, meaning that you have some champions at the beginning, right?
Yes, correct. So yes, to turn your translator into, say, linguists and post editors, I would suggest to build a champion program with them. Start with very, say, 2, 3, 5, and then have them working with you and as real partner, and then you can build. You can communicate with the other. They will rely on the productivity gain they are having on a daily basis.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, on your opinion, how will the use of MT evolve in the future? Because you know this MT since a long time. You explained to us the different evolution. So now, how do you see the next steps?
Next step for machine translation. Well, I would say more for automation. I would say it's everything around speech to text, translate text to speech, because we know now we have tools that are almost okay to have speech to text and text to speech quite automatically. but right in the middle there is not the translation, automated translation. Probably another way would be automated post-editing in some way, to have a layer of rule again. And I know it's coming from our past probably, so a kind of some rules that can clean up as much as possible and help for automated post-editing. What I see is that more and more of our clients are integrating machine translation within their organization. They call us telling, okay, I have, sorry, I will use a wrong word, but I have depulled this content and but it's not good enough to be published. Can you help? And okay, first we try to explain maybe DeepL is maybe not the right tool, but then it makes us think that they are integrating, and that's where we should add them, and where Systran also should add them to protect their data, to have them trained engine, customized engine, and so that's another way I see the market is evolving.
Yeah, I totally agree, and I think it's really what we try to do together is to bring premium on a standard basis that is now, that's right, quite good enough for certain applications, certain usage, but not for professional usage. And that's why we are really at Systran focused also on professional needs. And now the challenge is not to bring MT, but it's to bring a really premium experience that allow to have really accurate translation linked to as you said, the terminology of the customers, the tone of voice you want to use, etc., etc.
Exactly.
Good. And so we see really well the collaboration between us, between LSPs and MT. So it's really interesting to hear you on that. And for you at Lexcelera, what are the next steps and the perspectives for the MT project?
So deploy at a higher level within the TWorks group. So at the moment, for example, so deploy machine translation best practices within the TWorks group, which is made of now 7 sister company. So we are now integrating first as a company, but also tools and best practices.
Yeah, of course. Lexcelera is a pioneer, and you are going to, yes, to help the other ones to manage this technology.
At least we will support the effort, yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, good. And last question for you, Laurence. I like to ask each time this question to our participants is what kind of advice would you give to our audience today if they are about launching a machine translation project?
Better call Systran? No, seriously. Sorry. Seriously, really do an inventory of your needs. Do an inventory of your existing material assets, where, because it's still an investment. To be clear, it's not just having a tool, but you also have to implement processes around.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah, and yes, measure your investment and return on investment, and do the inventory of what is existing within your company and where the needs are. And
absolutely.
then, yeah, and then yes, you can call Systran or Lexcelera to support you on yes, defining more clearly and more precisely a deployment plan.
Yeah, because I agree, totally agree, because I think it's a big difference between MT online tools and really pure player MT and LSPs is the advice, as you said, because today we see that companies don't know very well how to manage MT projects. It can be very complicated, and they really need experience and advice on that. So I think we can bring to them really the experience we had with other customers first, and also the questions they have to ask themselves, because we know what are the important questions. And it's a big difference. It's not just, as you said, to plug a tool. It's really to think about a process and an optimized workflow. And we can definitely, you and I and you and Sistran can definitely help on that. So I think it's really important, and companies understand this positioning compared to online tools, that it's just a tool, you plug it, okay, it's okay, but it's not the complete solution to their challenges, I think.
Yeah, I completely agree. It could work for very small volume and non-strategical communication. But when it comes to talking to your clients, of course you have to take care as if a human is writing the content. So yeah, we are delivering the exact same results, but following a different processes. But still, it's processed. It's not a button.
Absolutely. Thank you, Laurence. I think it's time for a question of the audience. So, Alex, do you have some question of the audience to share with me so I can relay the questions? So, okay, I see that I have the panel here. So, okay, there is some question, Laurence. So, okay, I like this. Laurence, have you tried Modern MT, Adaptive on the Fly NMT, and Intento's smart routing feature available via MemoQ? If so, what were your experience?
So not all of what you mentioned. Can you repeat?
So
adaptive.
Modern MT, right? Modern MT with their Adaptive on the Fly NMT. And the second one was Intento, you know, the hub where you can have several MT plugged to their subscription, I think.
Yes, yes, we've done very shortly. The thing is, again, it is a too large scale, so it's not applicable to our clients. We've seen that when it comes to very specific content, like when we are dealing with some material for deploying a platform, an oil platform production, it's highly technical, and we've seen that all those kind of generic engines were not working well enough. Sorry.
Okay.
Did I answer you the question? No.
Yeah. Second one, do you use or plan to use multiple?
So 1 point, and yes, our workflows is fully integrated within Memoc or Trados Studio. This is completely feasible. You can integrate all the process when you're an LSP with your tool.
Yeah. So the second one is, do you use or plan to use multiple MT services in a single project to make multiple MT suggestions available to your translators?
Nope. Sorry, short one.
Yes, short one. Yeah. Okay. What do you think about feeding MT with relevant TM fuzzy matches and TB hits on the fly, productivity gains versus legal issues?
Okay, so yes, translation memories are the assets that we are using to train engine, of course. So that's what I'm calling corpus or corpus. You have to make sure that it is anonymized, and you have to make sure that the engine you are using will be for the the client data. So, I mean, if you're developing an engine for, say, Vinci, I don't know, and then you will have to use this engine for Vinci only. That's what we are doing. But again, you can use your translation memory as corporal.
Yep.
Anonymize,
Okay.
analyze, eliminate bias.
Okay. Another question here. Who does the training of the engines? Somebody with a translation background?
Okay, so this is more what we are calling computational linguist. So this is someone coming from the natural language programming background, which is background of machine translation and terminologist too. So yes, it's a linguist with computational skills.
Okay. Other question, I think we answered during the webinar, but we can recap. What productivity gains do you usually get with trained NMT?
So it will really
no, we talk about, no, that's right. We talk about quality gains, but not productivity gains. That's right.
Yes, that's correct. I won't talk about productivity gains. So to be frank, today we are from say 900 words an hour to even 1,500 words an hour. So it's quite a large scale, I would say. So compared to translation, okay, this is this is multiplicated, and compared to rule-based or statistical-based post editing, it's 30 to 50% gain in productivity.
Okay, so it's not so bad.
No.
Okay, great. Another one, what do you think about glossary support offered by a number of MT services as DeepL, Google, Cloud Advanced API, and Amazon?
It helps. As I said, it helps because it's a layer that is coming after the machine translation. So, and it's also within Systran. So you have the outputs, and then there is a kind of algorithm that is setting the terminology within the output. So it helps, of course. But again, it's not completely training the engine with the language of the domain. The terminology is there, but maybe not all the kind of cultural thing that we can have on some certain domain.
Okay, thank you. I think we are done with the questions of the audience. So thank you all for your attention today and to have participated to the question. There is another one. Sorry. So we have time, so we can take them definitely. So, what kind of hardware do you use for mobile applications? I'm not sure.
Wow, good question. Sorry, I will go back to my IT guy, and can I answer later if you don't mind?
I think so.
Sorry. Thank you.
So. Okay, accepted.
Thank you. Thank you.
Another one, how difficult is it to embark translators into a post-editing journey?
Oh, good question too. The thing is, we started 12 years ago, so no, as I said, at that time, we started really with a very small pool of translators that we were working for with for many years, and we have involved them in deploying the process. Really, we've done several kickoffs with them. We've done several post-project review, also meetings with them to really take into account their own feedback, their way of seeing machine translation, what machine translation can bring within their work, etc. So we've really done that, and as they feel they were a partner and they were listened, we didn't arrive with an output and say, now you're a post editor. It's just, okay, we were like, do you want to be a post editor with us? Do you want to play the game? It won't be everywhere, but now 12 years later, we see that it's almost everywhere. And probably within 5 years' time, 100% of the content will go through.
Absolutely. Okay, great. Thank you, Laurence. Thank you so much for sharing all this experience and huge experience on MT and the, I would say, really the collaboration between MT and human translators, and it's what we wanted to highlight today, and I think we managed that together. So thank you again, everyone, for participating. So of course, if you have any other question on this webinar, you will be able to contact us directly. Also, so you have the email address, contact@systrangroup.com. So don't hesitate. You will receive also the replay of the webinar after this in few days. And if you have any question, any project, don't hesitate to ask Laurence and Systrand. Thank you so much. Have a very nice day, and I hope to talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Talk to you. Bye.